Hi everyone. Today we're going to be talking about converting hours and minutes. First of all, I'd like to make a little chart to help us remember how many minutes there are actually in an hour. Boy, I wish you guys were here. It's lonely in this room without you all. So, I know one of you would raise your hand, at least one of you would raise your hand and tell me there are 60 minutes in an hour. So, how many minutes would there be in 2 hours? Well, I could do 60 plus 60 and get 120, or I could think 60 times 2, or I could think 6 times 2 and add my 0 onto it. Any of those ways are fine. But if you're thinking of converting hours to minutes, I want you to know that if you know your 6 times table, it's going to help you a lot. How many minutes are in 3 hours? 180. How many minutes are in 4 hours? 240. How many minutes are in 5 hours? 300. How many minutes are in 600? 360. Do you see the sixes? 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 420, 480, 540, and in 10 hours, oops, that didn't come out very good, did it? There would be 600 minutes. Okay? So we're going to leave that as a reference. And we're going to say, if I have 4 hours and 40 minutes, how many minutes would that equal? Well, first I've got to convert my 4 hours. Well, let's look over here. 4 hours equals 240 minutes. So I have 240 minutes plus my 40 minutes, and that's going to equal 280 total minutes. So 4 hours and 40 minutes equals 280 total minutes. Let me give you one to do here. Hold on. And I know you don't have your whiteboards, but you do have paper and pencil, I'm sure, at home. You can always pause me. Can't do that at school, can you? So let's try 2 hours and 5 minutes. If you need to, pause me, go do it, and then start me up again. But I'm going to say, I got to convert my 2 hours into minutes. So I'm going to come over here, 2 hours, 120 minutes, plus, I already have my 5 minutes. So 120 plus my 5 would equal 125 minutes. Does that make sense? Good. But now, remember, it doesn't always go this way. Sometimes you're going to start with minutes. Say I had 180 minutes, and I wondered how many hours that would be. Well, let's come over here. There's 180 minutes. How many hours is that? 3 hours. Okay? But of course, they're not always going to give you an even amount that just breaks down into a finite number of hours. So let's say they say 220 minutes equals how many hours and how many minutes? Well, we don't know how to divide by double digits, but we do know how to subtract. How many minutes are in an hour? 60. So if I take the 220 minus 60, There, I'll get that right. So 12 minus 6 is 6. 1 minus 0 is 1. I can still subtract 60 out. 160 minus 60 is 100. I can still subtract 60 out. I can't subtract 60 anymore, but now I can count. How many times did I subtract 60? 3. And what's left over? 40 minutes. So 2 hours, 220 minutes equals 3 hours and 40 minutes. Let me give you one to do. Hold on. Let's do 135 minutes. How many hours and minutes will that equal? If you need to, pause me, do it, and then come back on. But I'm going to keep going. So I know 135 minus, I know there are 60 minutes in an hour. 5 minus 0. 13 minus 6, I can still get 60 out of that. So I'm going to go again. I can't get 60 out of that. So I'm going to count up. How many times did I subtract 60? Twice. What's left over? 135 minutes equals 2 hours and 15 minutes. Okay? As you stare at green space. Let's go into the book. I'm on page 116 of my book. I'm going to cap my marker. I'm at the top of 116. The table showed the time taken by 3 children to paint a picture. Who are my 3 children? My 3 children are Amy, Jane, and Sue. Who took the longest to paint the picture? Well, you got to look at the times taken. The longest time is the biggest amount, or the 2 hours and 5 minutes. So Jane took the longest amount of time at 2 hours and 5 minutes. Who took the shortest amount of time? Well, the one with the least in there. 1 hour and 15 minutes. So Amy took the least amount of time. You guys are going to enjoy this one. Marcus! Yay, Marcus! He took 1 hour and 35 minutes to complete a jigsaw puzzle. Write the time in minutes. Now, Marcus, you know if we were at school, you'd have to go to the whiteboard and do this in the front of the classroom. So if you guys need to pause and do it, go ahead. But I'm going to come over here and I'm going to write 1 hour and 35 minutes equals how many minutes? Again, my 1 hour is the same as 60 minutes. Plus I already have 35 minutes. So what is 60 plus 35? 95 minutes. So it took Marcus 95 minutes to complete his puzzle. Guys, if you have any questions, let me know. Tonight's homework, pages 127 and 128 in the math workbook. Love you guys. Take care. Bye.